Hi guys, I'm SJ, a mum of 3, and today's video I'm going to chat about the 6 principles of gentle parenting or positive discipline, because they're kind of two in the same thing, one and the same thing. And I really subscribe to this style of parenting. I think I do it quite naturally, but more recently I was trying to be more mindful of it. I guess I've got 3 children, they are 8, 5 and 2, so even the little one needs quite a bit of discipline. And I really don't like to use punishments or rewards. I use rewards much more actually, and gentle parenting is all about saying you don't need either punishment nor reward to elicit cooperation from your children, and that they should, through gentle parenting techniques, these 6, just want to cooperate naturally and want to behave well. Isn't that the holy grail? So I am going to take you through the 6 principles and how I interpret them, because some of them are also quite extreme, I think, or they can be taken to the extreme, and I think some of them there needs to be kind of a middle ground. So number 1 for gentle parenting is to respect your children, and the idea that as adults we think we have certain rights and we think that people should respect us and talk to us in a certain way all the time and respect our beliefs and our emotions, but that we don't bestow that same respect on our children all the time, that we kind of are in charge of them, that we expect them to follow our ways. And I think that in some ways children need the boundaries, don't they? And that's also, like, I guess, anti-gentle parenting, but there are some certain things that children aren't able to decide on, like the basics, like it is now dinner time, it is now bedtime, and we have to guide them. But I think that for me, respecting your children comes down to how you talk to each other and how you expect them to treat each other around the house, and that is my number 1 most important thing. And I really believe that that has made my family much less needing to lean on the discipline, because that means that we listen to each other and we're nice to each other. So I always tell the kids that kindness starts at home, and that we can't go to school or go to work all day and be really nice to our colleagues and smiley and give our best to strangers, and then when you get home the temptation is just to be like, ugh, I can't bother anymore, all my license is gone. And I say to them, look, we have to be really nice to each other. We only get one family. We're each other's most important people. Other people come and go, but we're here for life and we love each other, and that's why we have to respect each other. We don't tell each other to shut up. We don't call each other names, and I would never do that to the children, and I don't expect them to do that to me. And I think that that kindness starts from home. Is a way of showing my children respect. But it also means things like, you know, we all live here. Sometimes I just think of ourselves as a family rather than me as the mum, and that gets me out of the manager mode. And I'm like, yeah, bring your toys downstairs, like who cares? Like, it's your house as much as it is mine, and you can make rules as well within the boundaries of what's safe and things like that. So yeah, it's a really, really good one, and it's one just to look for throughout the day, like how can I make this more two-way and go with them more than just being the one who's always having to push myself in charge, which isn't nice for us mums either, really. The second one is a huge one, and that is to empathise with our children. So she talks a lot about, you know, behaviour and bad behaviour and lack of cooperation can come from anger, can come from sadness, it can come from frustration, and to really understand their emotions and not then punish them for having feelings or for being sad, and that instead we should just make sure that they understand that we get their feelings, that we understand why, explain to them, yeah, it might be school time now and you've got to leave your toys and that really sucks, but I'll have your toys ready for you when you get home, and now let's get our shoes on. It would be a very nice way of doing it, rather than my normal just get the shoes on, you knew about this 10 minutes ago. So just kind of reminding yourself, and sometimes that can break the back, I think, of a confrontation. But when I am in that moment of confrontation sometimes, and it's just the cycle has started, someone's angry, then they get upset, and then they don't want to cooperate, and then I'm annoyed, I always have this motto, which is try a little tenderness. And if you're ever in that situation, I swear, and you just say something kind, or you just start acting super kind towards your child, they love it. They thrive much more on kindness and positivity, as we all know. And sometimes it takes that reminder. So if they're like really, really sad, it's like, is it that big a deal if I say to them, look, why don't you have just a sandwich on the floor in the lounge for dinner tonight? And, you know, is it that big a deal? Because no, it's not that big a deal to me, but will it really break the back and create this lift and shift in the mood? Yes. And then go for that, and go for kindness, go for tenderness, and go for empathy and how you would like to be treated sometimes. Number 3 is allowing children to make their own mistakes and have their own opinions. I think this is really helpful when it comes to squabbling. So really often now I just let the kids argue something out and not jump in and just take that step back, and it's really hard to do. But I just step back, listen to them, and making them decide. There's going to be some tension in the house, like over who gets the iPad first on the weekend. I say to them, you guys decide it, and then that allows them to learn to negotiate, learn to back down, learn when to push forward. And that's what gentle parenting is all about, that they should be learning to make their own decisions, and sometimes they win, sometimes they don't, but that's a life skill. Number 4 is one I think we'll all absolutely love, and she talks about resetting your expectations about what's age appropriate and what's normal. And I think when I first had Freddie 8 years ago, there was a lot of emphasis on routine and when to do what, and that if you miss this phrase, you're creating a rod for your own back, just drives me crazy, is if you've missed the boat and now you're never going to have a child who sleeps, or you're never going to have a child who likes broccoli because you weaned wrong or something like that. And now I think that this idea of relaxing your expectations, and doesn't mean that you're not monitoring and making sure you're, following the trends and following where they should be in terms of major development milestones. But she says, it's not normal for every 2-year-old to sleep in their bed all night. If that's not right for you and your family and your child, that's okay. And that's how to be a gentle parent to them. A bit like baby-led weaning, it's just baby-led childhood. But it's also a way to be kind to yourself, because I think once you take that pressure off yourself and that comparing, it's like what's right for you and great for you isn't right and great for me. Then I think that really, really helps us as mums, and just to go, does it really matter? If it doesn't bother me that much, I'm not going to change it just because so-and-so, everyone else, 5 other people, 10 other people will say that my child should not be behaving like that. If it's all right with me, then I'm going to let it go. The next one is to take time to nurture yourself. And in gentle parenting, they're sort of saying that the reason we get a bit snappy, or the reason that sometimes our children aren't getting the best of us, is because we've got so many worries, so many pressures on our own shoulders as mums, and we don't take care of ourselves. And sometimes she's saying that our attention or our priorities are not focused on the best things for ourselves. Sometimes we're worried more about getting back to work, getting in shape, what everyone else is up to, putting pressure on ourselves on the silly things, when what really we should be doing is just nurturing and taking that self-care route, which is so trendy right now. So I think that is really an interesting one. I think that whenever I hear you can't pour from an empty cup, I'm like, actually you can. How many of us have for many, many months on end? But it's about what's sustainable. And it's like, I can do that, but I can't sustain that forever. At some point I'm going to need to figure out what's going to make me be able to carry on all the time and feel good and feel at my most calm, and that I'm punching my best in terms of parenting. And I definitely noticed that I'm a better parent, obviously, if I've slept well, if I've had a break from the children, if I've had some fresh air that day, if I've done something to stimulate my own mind and I've enjoyed it, like read a podcast or made a vlog or something like that. So yeah, it is really important, and I think that doing that is going to ultimately help you be a better parent. The last one is probably the most interesting one, actually, and it's about giving them your attention. So she talks a lot about how our children today are very stuff-rich and time-poor, and that we talk a lot about attention-seeking behaviour as if it's a bad thing. And it kind of got to me a little bit, and she talks about how we're very much like an in a minute, or not right now, I don't have the time, I can't do that, I'm busy. And I think that we do live in a very busy world, and busyness is seen as like something really good. Like, I'm so busy, it's like a badge we wear, isn't it? And just slowing down. And I find this really, really hard. And Evelina, my 2-year-old, is very needy of my attention. So if I do anything, if you pick up your phone, if you pick up your laptop, if you go to the cooker, she will squeeze herself in between me and that and cling on to me. And I find it frustrating, because it's just, you want that 5 minutes, or you just need to send that email because it's important, whatever. Or jobs end up half done all over the house. But lately I have really listened to this piece of advice, and I've thought, no, like, if she needs my time and it's going to take 5 minutes of sitting down and cuddling her and then saying, are you ready now, I'm going to go back to my job, then just do that, because that is going to really give us that connection, and it makes them know. I never want to say to them I don't have time, and I say that a lot, and I'm like, really, I do have time. They're not asking me to like go on a 4-hour hike. They're asking me to like play a game of Uno, or give them a quick hug, or get some games set up for them and help them play it for a few minutes. So yes, it is a really important one, and the one that I really need to focus the most on, I think, from the whole list. So those are the 6 techniques and principles of gentle parenting or positive discipline. I hope I've explained them all right. Let me know what you think of them in the comments below, which ones you think you do naturally or any that you think are really, really hard. I think that all of them are really good to know and just to kind of have in mind and pick one at a time to kind of focus on each week. And for me at the moment, it's the time one and spending that attention on the children, because with 3, it's a struggle. With 2 in school, it's kind of like after school moments, get a bit squeezed and stuff like that. So that is my big focus for now, and I will do another video on my specific positive discipline techniques, because I've got some ways I think really, really work in terms of getting cooperation from them that are more tried and tested. So that'll be the next video, so don't forget to click like and subscribe if you've enjoyed this video, and I look forward to chatting to you in the messages. Bye everyone!